Hey everybody, today I'm going to teach you how to make homemade buttermilk biscuits, the best in my opinion. It took me 2 years to perfect it and figure out how to make them just right using different techniques and different recipes and things that I had seen other people do making their biscuits, and I just did trial and error over a couple years and I finally perfected it, well, at least to me and my husband. So I need to make my biscuits, let's see. Hang on, I'll show you. This is what I use. This is the only flour I use. White Lily self-rising flour. Self-rising flour. That's what I have in here. You're going to need buttermilk and 5 tablespoons of cold butter. I use unsalted, but you can use salted if you want. And I have a greased skillet. You're going to need a biscuit cutter, a measuring cup, a 1 cup measuring cup, a grater, and a mixing bowl. And a fork. You can grab that. I'm multitasking and cooking hash browns right now also. Alright, so I need, in my bowl, I need 2 cups of self-rising flour. So 1, 2. And then next, I'm going to take my 5 tablespoons of cold butter and grate it in to my mixing bowl. Almost got it. Be careful, don't cut yourself. Make sure you got it all in there. Alright, I need a towel. Alright, so that's what it looks like. It looks like shredded cheese, really. Okay, so now I take my hands and I crumble, even though it's shredded, it has to be crumbled up and incorporated into the flour. So I'm going to do that and then I'll show you what it looks like. I just grab it, squeeze it, mash the little pieces of butter up so that they get incorporated all into the flour evenly. Alright, so now it's just crumbled into the flour. It's perfect. Alright. Okay, now I have my whole buttermilk and I'm going to put 1 cup. Sometimes it takes more. Just depends. So we're going to start with 1 cup. And then I just take a fork and I mix it. already tell that it's too dry. So I'm going to add a little bit more buttermilk. Just a splash. Usually a couple tablespoons more. Oh yeah, that looks much better. So it's usually about a cup and a couple tablespoons. Alright, so now that out of my way. So this is just aluminum foil. I just put it on the counter. I wet my hand, I rub it on the counter, and then I stick the aluminum foil on it and it doesn't move. It's just my little trick. So then I take some flour, the same flour we used to make the biscuits, put it on the aluminum foil. Now you're going to take your biscuit dough and dump it right on top of the flour. And I already forgot one of the main steps is taking your rings off. Okay. So then you've got this mound of, it's sticky. This dough is sticky. So I'm going to take some of this excess flour, sprinkle it over the top. I don't need my dough. I don't need it. I think it makes a tough biscuit. So once I plop it down on here and I cover the surface with flour just so that I can touch it and it doesn't stick. This is flour. The dough is not sticky. So you just wet it, pat it down till about an inch. It's maybe an inch thick. I take my biscuit cutter. I like to use a small one. I think this is maybe a 1.5 or 2 inch cutter. I just dip it down in my flour. My skillet ready. This is my husband's grandmother's skillet. And then I take my biscuit cutter. I keep flour on my hand. So what I do is, after I cut it, I form it taller so that my biscuit rises really thick. They're little biscuits, but they're thick. So that's how I do it. And then I put it in the pan and I just go around the circle, flour on my hand, and then I just form it to make it a little taller. And then I put it in the pan. And I just do that until all of this is used. Pat it back and forth sometimes if I feel like there's too much flour sticking to it. Okay, so now I need to take this dough, get some flour on my hands again, and pat it back down so I can finish cutting. Sometimes I have to do this several times so that I can get as many biscuits as possible. Oh, let me do that one more time. Pat it down. Once you get towards the end, I always say those are the ugly biscuits, but they taste just as good. So don't waste any of this dough. It doesn't matter if it's ugly, as long as it tastes good. got this one little pile. I'm just going to form it by hand. And it's crumbling apart, but we're going to make it work. That's the ugly biscuit I was talking about. I usually eat it. Okay, you rinse my hands. Okay, so this is what it looks like in the pan. And I'm about to put it in a preheated 475 degree oven. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's done.